Tim.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Harris.
First day of sailing, huh?
Yeah, should be pretty good.
Quite excited. Bloody 5 in the morning, mate.
One wind warning. She'll be right, mate. It's supposed to be probably like 20 knots maybe all day. Should be good. Should be good. I'm gonna flip them just for like 10 seconds and then.
Cracking on the morning, Captain.
Haven't broken anything yet.
You happy, Sarah?
Huh?
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 How you go for you?
Nervous, to be honest.
Poking along. Sails up. Leaving the harbour.
And so we headed south, settling into a beautiful close reach. With our number 2 hanked on slightly smaller Jenny, I decided to employ an ancient technique to get us a couple more miles.
Tim?
Yeah.
Hello. Woo!
I hadn't quite counted on how well this technique might actually work, and the wind steadily increased to a maximum of around 25 knots.
Hell yeah, this is irritating.
We were cracking on beautifully, with the Navionics app telling me we were doing 6.3 knots at one point, about 2 knots quicker than I ever thought this old pirate ship would go.
Welcome, guys. Sail Block here. Got a nice old tack on. Heading towards Busselton.
Fuck yeah.
Little 18 knots of wind right now. Going pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, not much else to say. Radio been pretty quiet this morning. We had some pee incidents and a bilge full of water, but nothing we couldn't manage.
We were joined on this journey by a buddy boat, a very helpful neighbour named Shane and his dog Dinkum. We were somewhat overpowered, and I decided to put a single reef in the main. I quickly realised this was a system I was going to have to refine. And then, at long last, something we'd not seen for quite some time. Clear, beautiful blue water. We rounded the Busselton Jetty and took up anchor, and Sarah immediately decided it was time for a celebration. Whee! After a somewhat boozy lunch, we all had a swim, and Sarah, chomping at the bit to test the new GoPro, decided to clean off the last bits of growth where we hadn't been able to anti-foul. I'm not sure if this was to get us a few more knots or to make potential keel haulings less arduous, but as it was, we have a beautifully clean hull now.
Nice.
Wake up early again and try to pull anchor just after 6.
Yep.
Get on the good wind and just yeah, smash it down. Should be fun. We pulled anchor early, hoping for the predicted easterly to take us down to Quindelup, but alas, it was not to be. It was good, however, to get the spinnaker up for the first time and just see how all the lines worked.
Drink boating, huh? Problems with the crew. All the time, problems with the crew.
We quickly reverted to our original plan, to dive the Busselton Jetty. At 1,841 meters long, it's the longest timber-piled jetty in the southern hemisphere, and up there with the biggest wooden structures in the world. The marine life below, while not fantastic, was really interesting for a first snorkel, and we had a very good time. As an interesting aside, this jetty is so long that there's a train that runs down there. That evening, we took the dinghy to shore to sample some of Busselton's finest beers at the Shelter Brewery. We had a meal here and met up with Siri, one of Klaus's friends from Moggs, who was to stay over and sail with us back to Bunbury the next day. The next morning, I woke at 5, hoping to find 10 knots of southeasterly to blow us back to Bunbury. This was not the case. It was eerily calm, with rain clouds on the horizon, so we waited around for a while to see if the wind would pick up, but decided just to go for it in the end. tacked slowly downwind in the light airs, and were greeted by dolphins just outside of Busselton, to the great delight of everyone on board. Much like our first journey, as we slowly progressed, the wind and swell steadily increased, and increased, and increased. Eventually I had to take the main down, and we were surfing down waves under just the Genoa. It was quite exciting, but very roly as we were going almost with the swell. I've surfed a lot of funny things in my life, but I gotta admit, I never thought I'd be surfing my house. By the time we were about 10 miles out of Bunbury, we were running before 30 knots of wind in 2-meter seas, rolling all over the place, but still, the boat was handling awesomely.
It looks so relaxing.
Just before rounding into Bunbury, we were visited once again by a pod of very acrobatic and very enthusiastic dolphins.
Where do they go now?
Sarah cemented her reputation as a dolphin whisperer by calling them out of the deep.
Come on, jump! Turn up a dolphin one.
After about 7 hours of rolling all over the place, the Bunbury breakwater never looked so good. I breathed a bit of a sigh of relief once we were safely back in anchorage. The only victim of our journey was our number 1 Genoa, which had torn as we were pulling it down as we rounded the point. This further highlighted the need for a roller furling system, but I got onto that pretty quickly. I hope you enjoyed this slightly long-winded video of our misadventures. If you did, don't let me hold you back from hitting either like or subscribe, and we'll see you back for our next installment as soon as I get my laptop charged.